If you are fully booked right now in your business, your calendar is packed, clients are saying yes, you got more work than you have ever had. And instead of feeling like success, it actually feels like you are drowning. You are in exactly the right place today. Real quick, before we dive in, you already know I do not do fluff. I tell you this every week. We have one leak, one fix every week that I'm going to address. And today's leak is the one that hides inside your busiest, best looking seasons and quietly takes every single thing that you've earned right back. So while we wait on folks to come on in, I want you to drop a yes in the comments if you have ever been the busiest that you have ever been and somehow the least profitable, the most exhausted, or either both, right? Just type yes if that's ever been you. I want everybody else to kind of know it's just not them, right? This is real deal. We're business owners. Let's be real. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into what we came here for today. Listen, being fully booked is not the same thing as being successful. Let me say that again. Because we have been taught this, y'all. In business, we've been taught, hey, as long as you're booked, it's all good. But that's not the case. Being fully booked is not success. Sometimes it is the most expensive problem or expensive problem in your business because you're wearing that, like I like to say, the costume of success. And that's how it can become an expensive problem. Because a full calendar on top of, here I go, no systems is not growth. It's not. It is a breakdown running on a schedule. And today on the Operational Leak series, we are talking about the capacity leak, what it actually costs to be booked without the systems to support it. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Danette Moss, business growth and operations strategist, also known as the Strategy Lady, and I collaborate with consultants and service-based business owners to simplify, automate, systematize, and streamline their operations. 4 steps that spell S.A.S.S, so they can stop drowning in the back end and build businesses that run on rinse and repeat systems. Here is what this leak looks like. You wanted to be booked. You worked hard to get here. The clients came. You said yes. You said yes again and again. And now your calendar is full. But something is wrong. You are working more than you ever have. And you have actually less to show for it. You're exhausted in a way that sleep does not fix. You're dropping things you never used to drop, missing details, forgetting to follow up, delivering a little later than you would like. And here's the part that makes no sense on paper. Hopefully you got it on paper. You are busier than ever and you're not making more money. Sometimes you're making less. That is the capacity leak. And it happens because you added more clients without adding the systems to hold them. You did not scale your business. You scaled yourself. You just piled more weight onto the one part of the business that cannot be copied, it cannot be delegated, and cannot work 26 hours a day, which is you. And here's why this happens to good business owners. When the work came in, you did what got you here. You absorbed it. More clients to you meant more for you to personally handle. More onboarding you personally walked through with them, right? More questions you personally answered. More delivery that personally depended on you actually being in the room. Now that actually works for 3 clients, right? But at 10, please, it starts to crack because your capacity is fixed. There are only so many hours, only so much of you. And when the business is built to run through you, then you become the ceiling. The business cannot hold more than you can personally carry. So every new client does not add profit. Every new client actually adds weight. Let me show you exactly where the money actually leaks out. You raise your revenue, but not your systems. So now you are paying for it in ways that don't show up on your invoice. You are working nights and weekends, and that's unpaid time. Sound like I know, right? Which means your actual hourly rate just quietly dropped. I promise you I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. Not a good feeling. Not a good feeling. And you're making mistakes because you are stretched. And mistakes cost you in the redos, the refunds, and clients who don't come back. You are too busy delivering to sell. So the pipeline actually dries up. And 3 months from now, you will feel this months that you're in now overwhelmed turn into the next quarter's drought. And you are too underwater to even raise your prices or hire help, which are the 2 things that would actually fix it, right? That is the trap. The capacity leak keeps you too busy to build the thing that would end the capacity leak. Here's a S.A.S.S fix that I want to leave you with. First, simplify. You know, I start here all the time. Look at everything that you personally do for a client, start to finish, and separate it into 2 piles, okay? The work that generally requires you, your expertise, right? Your judgment, the thing that actually pay you, the thing that they actually pay you for. And everything else, you know, the scheduling, the reminders, the intake, the status updates, the administrative work, most of what is actually drowning you is the second pile, okay? And almost none of it actually needs you, believe it or not. Second, systematize. Now we're going to jump out of order because I know our S.A.S framework is simplify, automate, systematize, and streamline, but sometimes they don't actually go in that order. The second, in this case, because we simplified, now we want to systematize. This is extremely important. Take the second pile, the work that does not require your genius, and build it into a repeatable process. Document it step by step. So it can run the same way every time without living in your head. You cannot delegate or automate chaos. Well, you shouldn't, let me say that, because I've seen it done. You have to make it a system first, okay? Third, now we automate. Now, the pieces that do not need a human touch at all, the booking, the reminders, the confirmations, the follow-up sequence, let them run without you. Every task that you automate is capacity handed back to you, not someday, but immediately. Fourth, streamline. Look at what's left. Cut the friction, the redundant steps, the 3 tool handoffs, and in most cases, for some people, 12, 15, 30, crazy. Listen, you need to make sure that you are not in what do you call tool overload. Okay. Those tools, you need to look at what you actually need and what you don't need. The places where work waits on you for actually no reason. Streamlining, I like to say, is how you get more room without adding more hours, because you're removing the things that are dragging you down. You're removing those things that are not adding effort. Here's your action step this week. For 1 week, track where your hours actually go. Not what you think you do, what you actually do. Every task, every day. And at the end of the week, look at the list and make every single thing that did not require your specific expertise, that administrative work, the chasing, the scheduling, the repeated questions, add those hours up. That number is actually your capacity leak. That is the time you are spending being the assistant in a business that needs you to be the CEO. Then take the single biggest time drain. That's on your list, right? The one thing that's eating up most of your hours that does not actually need you. And this week, either I want you to document it so that someone else can do it, or document it so you can automate it so no one actually has to, right? Take that time and do that. Just one. The one move that will give you hours back immediately, because you do not need more hours in the day like you may think. You need the business to stop running every hour through you. That's what you need. But if you look at that list and realize almost everything is running through you, that the entire business only works because you are personally holding every single piece of it together, that's not a time management problem. It's really not. That is what I like to say is a capacity infrastructure gap. And it does not get fixed with a better morning routine or a new planner. It doesn't. That is exactly what we actually diagnose, honestly, inside of the Simplify to Scale operational audit. And when we do those audits, you actually get an operational score across all 4 pillars, a complete gap analysis showing you exactly where the business depends on you. And you end up with a prioritized roadmap for what to build first, delivered to you within 24 hours. But first things first today. Today is simple. Track your week. Find the biggest thing that does not need you. Take it off your plate. So here's a question that I want to leave you with so you can do this. And I want you to take it seriously, because I've given you some steps that you can take to deal with this capacity leak that you may be having. I want you to answer this question. And it's a checkup from the neck up. Are you building a business or just building a busier version of your own job? Listen, because I want you to understand something. A full calendar is not the goal. It shouldn't be. A business that can hold a full calendar without breaking you, that's what the goal is. Being booked should be the reward for building the system, not the thing that actually quietly destroys you because you never built that system. That is how you turn being busy into being profitable. I had to learn that, y'all. That is how you put your business on rinse and repeat. That is how you get your S.A.S.S on in your business. And if you're just now joining, you're wondering what S.A.S.S stands for. It's simplify, automate, systematize, and streamline your business. I'm Danette Moss, business growth and operations strategist, aka the strategy lady over at Let's Talk Strategies. and digital CEO systems, where I collaborate with consultants and service-based providers. And I work with them to go from strategy to implementation. And we deal with that real important thing. Listen, we need to put our businesses on rinse and repeat instead of stop and start. Thank you for joining me for episode 9, The Capacity Leak, in our Operational Leak series. We're here every Tuesday, noonish, if we don't have any tech issues, every week. Make sure that you share this with a business bestie that you know needs this. And make sure that you implement. Take the actionable steps that I provided you and watch how your business will grow. Thanks again for joining me here on the Operational Leak series. If you're listening to us via a replay, do hashtag replay so we'll know that you joined us. All right. Until next time, see you next week, next Tuesday. Take care.